this Saturday, you can catch Pete Thompson and I live at the Ocean William Hill Resort Sportsbook from 5 to 7, doing a special Eagles show on a Saturday. And, of course, the Pete Thompson Show airs every Saturday morning from 8 to 10 on 97.3 ESPN. He filled in for me admirably Friday and Monday of last week and yesterday as well. And it's Tuesday with Thompson right now on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN. Old PT.
MG, good thing I was listening in the car when you said I was coming up next, or else I would have not been ready for another 13 minutes.
Oh, well, sorry. Yeah, we made a couple tweaks.
Yeah, did you think to tell me?
I did tell you this Saturday, but I don't know that you remember.
Oh, that's entirely possible.
Sunday.
Listen,
Sunday. It was Sunday.
Saturday, Sunday, 220, 221, whatever it takes. Listen, I told you that I was right, that Colin Thompson played offensive line. He played offensive line when he pretended to be a lineman as the guy on the practice squad.
Yo, he told me that. He said, like, a lot of times the practice squad guys or whatever, are basically playing position. Like, he was explaining how the NFL should go to 63 men because you got guys who are basically on the practice squad playing positions they've never played before.
Right.
Like, he's like, hey, they got me playing offensive guard and I'm blocking some guy that's like 209. Like, basically a quarterback playing safety because they're just out of guys.
He's such a wealth of knowledge, yesterday the contract question came up when we were down at Marquette and Lafayette, and he's able to break that down, to, game checks are what you want and being on the roster. Obviously, John McMullen's talked about vested veterans and stuff, but, Kyle's been there and he sees, what it's like in the locker room and 53, but really only 46 dress, right?
Yeah, 46 dress, 53 make. I texted him the other day because the Eagles, obviously cut down and only had 2 tight ends on the roster. Now they brought 2 back to the practice squad, so they're going to kind of, try to sneak those guys through the practice squad all year. But John thinks they're probably only going to have 2 guys available or active on game day. When you look at this team, I just talked about it, Pete. They've won every opening game in Doug Peterson's 3 seasons. They haven't lost to the Redskins in 4 years. I think this would be a pretty big disappointing loss. If they were to lose this game, 8.5-point favorite, I think this would be one of the more disappointing losses that you can anticipate because, look, Doug said it yesterday. He thinks this is the most talented, deepest team they've had.
Yeah, and I heard you say that. I think it would be a tremendous disappointment if they were to go out and lose this game. They're at home. They're against a Redskins team that in many ways did not improve themselves. And I just think that being at home and all the hype that's going around this Philadelphia Eagles team, you'd have to think it would be a tremendous disappointment if they somehow fell short. There's all kinds of things. I don't even think I brought this up on the air, but I know, fans and everybody has to be envisioning like Deshaun Jackson licking his chops, that Doug Peterson will probably give a little tip of the cap there and, all right, somewhere in the first 10 to 15 plays, let's just send Deshaun deep as fast as he can go. And Carson, you just chuck it to him and maybe we'll connect on that home run ball early and get the crowd in it. Don't you feel like something like that is due? I mean, of course, the Redskins aren't idiots either. They know that that's something D-Jax wants to do, but you just feel like that kind of stuff's coming.
But, this is another, the interesting part about this Redskins team, that offensive line of theirs on that left side, we were just talking about, they're beat up. You wonder if the Eagles try to take advantage of that and just run over that left side, I'm talking about blitz that left side is what I should say, is blitz. They don't blitz a whole heck of a lot, but if they just start sending all sorts of different looks at Keenum, throwing, get him into all sorts of, having to read stuff and getting rid of the ball, like they could get a lot of pressure on that left side of the line, I feel.
Yeah, and I'd be okay with that, seeing the Eagles defend defensive linemen in the Redskins backfield early, because that would be a change of pace of a couple of years ago where it was Big V who was the turnstile and Ryan Kerrigan who was in the Eagles backfield. Yeah. So let's see a game start off with the Eagles defense disrupting the Redskins instead of the other way around.
The interesting, like Lane Johnson said today, like what's it like playing against him? He said it sucks. Their defense, They got Jonathan Allen up front. They've got Kerrigan there. Norman's in the secondary, but Landon Collins is not a great guy against the pass, although he's gotten better at this time. This is a team, their defense is a little suspect. So, again, goes back to, it would be very disappointing, I think. It's Tuesday and things could change and yada, yada. But as of today, I feel like this is a perfect opening tilt for the Eagles.
Yeah, which, if you're a true Philadelphian, then you really grew up in the Delaware Valley, you're like, all right, so what's going to go wrong? I mean, they thought it was perfect the year they opened the link, and the highlight was Sylvester Stallone on Monday Night Football, and then it was all like Bucks after that, right? You know, I mean, we have long memories in this area of times where you're woulda, coulda, shoulda, or supposed to, and then bleh.
Well, Carson Wentz entering this year, as John wrote about, in a good place. And, everybody seems to have their feeling on what kind of Wentz we'll see. I think we're going to get a great Wentz. I think you're going to see the Wentz from 2017. This is the deepest group of weapons that he's had. So I'm excited about the Wentz that we're about to get this year.
I mean, did you see how long it's been since he's had a slice of pizza? Right, he went gluten free.
Could you imagine that drought for yourself there, Peter?
Absolutely not. I like anything that's a carb and anything that has bread, I'm all about it. So, everybody says that Carson looks leaner, slimmer, a little more mobile. I mean, look. There's a guy that got criticized for his leadership. There was an article that was written late, last season, where they were questioning, some of his maturity level and his leadership, and was he selfish? And, he's basically come out before this season and talked to the media and said, I've tried to ask myself, what can I do better? And that's all Philadelphia or Eagles fans really want is effort and try, and I think it's going to be a better Carson Wentz. Now, can he stay healthy? God, I hope so. But I think it's going to be a better Carson Wentz.
Well, we've spent a lot of this offseason, Peter, talking about the preseason and how much importance it is. A lot of guys did not play. Fletcher, Nigel, Darby, a lot of guys. So do you enter week one concerned because of that?
Darby, and I've heard, we had John on yesterday and you had John McMullen on today, and that's the same area. The first time I had him on the Pete Thompson show in the summer, I said, just pick one area. If there's a side of the ball that you're most concerned with, is it offense or defense? And not only did he go to defense, but he specifically went to the secondary because of the injuries in the secondary and how are they going to come back. And, I've heard that line before where he says, these aren't Madden players. You can't just plug the guy back in and all of a sudden he's good to go, and that's my biggest question mark because we just haven't seen these guys. Look, we didn't see Carson Wentz, but I'm not that worried about Carson Wentz's ability because, quite frankly, they put so many weapons around him that I almost think that it's going to be hard for him not to succeed. But on the defensive side of the ball, I think, health is going to be an issue and how healthy are these guys, how quickly, and how good are they ready to go?
I'm excited for Wentz. I'm excited for the offense. I definitely, and I'm very intrigued, I will say, in what he's going to do with these tight ends, the Ertz and Goddard, that duo there, how they kind of utilize those two guys. And I'm also kind of interested in Miles Sanders and whether or not, like, Howard was traded here and was like, okay, that was a savvy trade, whether or not he kind of gets phased out and kind of becomes a disappointment.
Well, it's funny because, we've tried to, Ryan tried to float that narrative a little bit yesterday. I've heard other people try to bring up, like, Jordan, even just in the stupid fantasy football, when you play on fantasy football and they're telling you to take Miles Sanders ahead of Jordan Howard because Jordan Howard isn't going to get that many touches, this, that, the other thing. I'll tell you what, look, Miles Sanders had an outstanding college career. I'm not going to knock that at all.
Well, he really had the 1 year.
Everybody that's been at Yes, but everybody that's been at the NovaCare complex is raving about Jordan Howard. So they're seeing something that we haven't seen yet. And to me, that's almost like, oh, well, all right, let's, everybody's saying that Jordan Howard's going to be better than we think he is.
Fine. It's Tuesday with Thompson. Pete Thompson. Yeah. All right. We got a lot of other things happening. So Eagles, Redskins. You going to the game, by do way? No, you're going to be at Bally's. You're going to be at Bally's. I forgot.
I'm going to be at Bally's. Yes. I'm working, but I'll be watching.
Do you have any games already tickets for?
Well, my dad, says, do I personally have tickets? No. Can I sit through and target like which ones I have a chance to get invited to and which ones I don't? Like there's absolutely no way I'm going to the Patriots game. You know what I mean? That's a hot ticket, right? I mean, but then there's games out there that boy, like week 8 against Buffalo, I'm not sure people are lining up at the gates to go to that one, or maybe week 3.
Well, I didn't know
against,
if like you had already like before the season starts, they're like, all right, Peter, this is the game I'm taking you to.
Right, yeah, I don't get the spreadsheet. I'm usually like the last guy invited to the party, but I'm just happy to be there,
Fair.
When somebody can't go and they want me to go, fine.
Hey, by the way, I before we transition over to the Phillies, Taj Sweet, he picked West Virginia over Temple.
Taj Sweet picked West Virginia over Temple.
Yes.
Well, I got a problem with that because,
I texted Harry Mays. And in Harry Mays, he gave me a one word. I said, hey, Sweet's going to WV because he had texted me, the Wildwood Catholic kid, he looking at Temple. And I said, he's going to go to West Virginia, like joking around. So then I tweeted him. He said, yeah, I saw.
And that's where he ended up.
Yeah, he went to Morgantown. Once you go to Morgantown, you're not going to Temple. Come on.
I guess. Good luck. I mean, listen, all I know is
I
this.
promise you, if you visited WVU, and if Taj Sweet is listening, if you visited Temple and then visited WVU, you're not picking Temple. Now, that being said, I can't vouch for Florida because he picked WVU over Florida Gators as well. And I've been to Penn State. I wasn't a big fan of the campus out there. I know a lot of people like it. WVU is a heck of a lot nicer than Penn State.
My whole take is that if he picked Temple, at least his friends and family could come see him play. There's no, you're just not going to get in the car and say, we're going to drive to Morgantown from, Cape May County. You're not.
Don't change his mind, Peter. Don't change his mind.
I'm trying. I want to get him back.
All right, let's go over to the Phils because 2.5 back. They've won 2 in a row. The offense is starting to click. And I know the PT is a sucker for a good story. So are they sucking the PT back in? Because I heard a fired up Pete Thompson on that Pete Thompson show.
Yeah. Well, the Miami mess or Miami, just debacle that night pissed me off. They are the ultimate tease because they do kind of rope me in and they play well against an opponent, for example, the Red Sox, and then they go blank the bed, when they go to the next series. So that's the kind of stuff that ticks me off. Am I getting sucked back in? No. And the biggest reason,
You're not watching tonight.
Oh, I'm absolutely watching tonight, but that doesn't mean that I'm believing they're going to make the playoffs.
Fine.
Because they need now they've put themselves in a pickle. They don't just need to go on a pretty good stretch and win. They also need the Cubs to lose, or they need other teams to lose, and I don't see that happening.
Well, yeah, obviously you need the help around, but look, if they keep, here's the thing: they're 2.5 back. My only saving, I won't say saving grace. My only thought on this is, all these other teams have had their run. They've all won 9 out of 10, 15 out of 16, blah, blah. The Phillies have not done that yet. If that's what's coming, they got a shot. If not, if they're just going to look, they're 25-25 over their last 50. I think they won yesterday to make them 26-25 over their last 51. If that's what they're going to do the rest of the way, they're not making it.
Well, and that's the problem is that you say you feel like everybody else has had a run. The Phillies still have not won more than 4 games in a row all season. That's not a run, Now,
have the Miami Marlins won more than 4 in a row?
Well, what do we care? Look, before yesterday's game, here's your numbers.
I'm just wondering, is a team like Baltimore, Detroit, Miami, have even they won more than 5 in a row?
Oh, more than likely. No, that makes sense now that I heard your point. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's probable, too, but, I mean, look, the Phillies had to go 18-11 in their final 29 games to hit 87 wins. 87 wins is like the demarcation line, right? So they basically are looking at the Cubs and Nationals ahead of them, and the best 29-game stretch that the Phillies have had, because, going into yesterday's game, 18-11 equals 29, was 19-10. So that's the kind of run you're asking. Can they go 19-10? So they're basically saying, hey, your best stretch of the season, can you duplicate that one more time? And I'm sorry. I like to put money down on that roulette wheel just like anybody else, but I don't expect to win.
How much, since the sports gambling is now legal, how much have you utilized that?
Oh, I'm pathetically behind. I'm like a rotary phone in a cell phone world. You're telling me you got first inning juice and, Hunter's producing the Pete Thompson show on Saturday mornings. And, I come in, he's watching English Premier League and I'm thinking geez, when did you like soccer? And he's like, no, I got this in DraftKings, and he's all about it, right? And I have none of it, like zero, like none.
So you haven't utilized it at all? What about going up to the brick and mortar?
I placed a bet at the Borgata last season on a football game and lost. Put your hand on the stove once, you're not going to do it again.
That's it.
Now, Michael, he's a Svengali. He loves the lines and he likes looking at it, and he's very excited the football season is back.
All right, me too. I see the Flyers are back too, right? I see Durso has been pumping out a lot of stuff at 97.3 ESPN.com.
They are. They're back, and I know this. Remember, they opened the season over in the Czech Republic.
Yeah, it's Friday. They play on a Friday at 2:00 in the afternoon,
and that's why, because that's the Jake Voracek homecoming, and they get to go back there. And the Flyers news basically the last couple of days was that Justin Williams said he was going to take a break, and Durso and I were going back and forth on what a good player he was.
Yeah. Now I saw Durso tweet that he thinks he belongs in the Hall of Fame.
So does Bill Meltzer. So does Anthony Mingione. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that think that Willie's numbers are that. Look, the bottom line,
really?
just like his numbers are good enough, but the fact that he's won Stanley Cups, 2 teams, I believe. Didn't he win one with the Hurricanes too?
Well, I mean, yes, but I mean, like Robert Ory's not going to the NBA Pro Basketball Hall of Fame because he won all those championships.
That's true, but I mean, I think you're shortchanging.
So you're telling me you think he was like an elite Hall of Fame player?
Well, I think his numbers are Hall of Fame, and I think that, there's guys. Look,
I don't know enough about the Hockey Hall of Fame and what the credentials are, but to me, Williams was kind of like a secondary guy, right?
No, but every team that he went to, he made better, and like when you get that reputation, a la a Claude Lemieux that came to a team and then they led him to the Cup, or Ron Francis back in the day led the Penguins to the Cup, or guys that would move from team to team, but then when they came to that team made the playoff run. He was like the missing piece, and Williams fits that category.
Yeah. All right. Well, I saw that little conversation, and I was a little surprised. Let me throw these numbers into the mix. This is from @Johnny Heller. Now, he's a great stat guy. He throws out a lot of stats over at Phillies Nation, all right?
Okay.
The Phillies are, when their starter goes at least 5 innings, they're 63-41, all right? When their starter goes at least 6 innings, they are 39-23. That's 62%. When their starter goes at least 7 innings, they are 21-5. They win 80% of the games. But when their starter fails to make it through 5 innings, which happens a lot for this team, they are 8-24. That's 25%. I think the answer to their problems is right there. Their starting pitching has been abysmal.
Well, and the first time that I had Matt Gelb on from The Athletic, I said to him, where's the drop-off? Like, once you get past Nola.
Where's the drop-off? It's right after Nola. As soon as they pull him off the mound, the drop-off begins.
That's what he said. And at that point, the news hadn't even come out yet about Arrieta's elbow injury. So, I mean, you can't be a Major League Baseball team and have a rotation of 1,
I have never seen anything like it. A team with 1 legitimate starting pitcher is still in a playoff race. I don't know who should get the credit for that.
I guess the players, quite frankly, and a little luck, and the rest of the NL East for stinking, I mean, or not distancing themselves enough, or some of the National League teams for not distancing themselves enough, Because, listen, who do you give the credit to for them still being in it? I don't give them any credit for being in it. It's remarkable that they are in it.
All right, well, I mean, you just said it's remarkable that they're still in it. So, again, it goes back to, if it's remarkable that they're 71-65 with what I just said and no pitching and yada yada and the injuries, they've had how many different center fielders this year? 5?
Yeah, McCutcheon, right? Who else has been
Well,
out
they
there?
started the
Figueroa
season with Herrera. Then when Herrera got hurt, when Herrera got suspended, McCutcheon went there, and then he got hurt, and then they had Quinn, and they've had Hastley, and they've had Kingery. I mean, they've had 5 different guys play center field. There's probably somebody else I'm missing.
Yeah, now you and I disagreed about Jay Bruce, too. You didn't think he should be brought back for that, but then I just ended that argument by saying, well, I have an open checkbook.
No. That was Corey Dickerson.
Oh, Corey Dickerson.
And I didn't
right.
disagree. That was Frank Close.
Okay. I knew somebody disagreed with me. I just couldn't remember who
What
it was.
that thing you drank on Sunday night?
Yeah, it must have killed some brain cells.
Oh, man.
It had a mermaid in it.
You disintegrated quickly, Peter.
It did taste wonderful.
I mean, you got there and you were pretty, hey, it's Pete. And then it went from it's Pete to, hi, it's Pete Thompson.
Come on, don't be. Well, I was going to say, I never, it wasn't like I was a puddle of goo. It wasn't like I slid out of the chair.
Oh, no, but you were loosey-goo. Now, you guys see around 10:30ish or so when we all broke off to go home, the PT.
Well, I used to use this phrase a lot back in the day. The switch was on. Okay, the switch was on.
You can't turn off the PT switch.
Nope. So I was ready to go for
now, what
more.
time?
Although, there was back bay flooding there. I almost had to get out.
That was
like
nuts.
a rowboat.
That was nuts.
Isn't that crazy? Good thing our cars were high enough that the water didn't start coming in by our feet.
I was wondering what the heck was going on.
Yeah, that's called back bay flooding.
Yeah, I figured it was just high tide or something like that. But so how long? So how long did you last?
Not that long. I think I do know that the next establishment we went to, there was a whole plan of we're going to tell this guy this and we're going to tell him this and this, and he wasn't buying any of that. And then literally he actually said, you don't work at Chickies and Pete's. You worked on TV 40. So then all of a sudden I get roped in, and they're like, all right, Thompson, you handle this, And the guy says, oh, I had TV class over at Atlantic High, and the next thing you know, they're all walking away, and I'm paying for every three people's parking.
I like that. Yeah. Well, because I saw you tweet. I saw you tweet the next day that the Phillies are going to be tired.
Yeah, and then you got right back on there and said, and there'll be some tired hosts too. Yes, that was very, very savvy of you.
Yeah. All right, Pete Thompson Show. Don't forget Saturday morning at 8:00, and then the MG and the PT are reuniting for a 2-hour tour on Saturday. No,
you and me out with the public.
Come on, Eagles, we told the story earlier in the show that I made a sports bet at the Ocean William Hill, which is where we're going to be on Saturday from 5 to 7. I made the bet, but I've never cashed the ticket. Well, the ticket has essentially, it's like Back to the Future. There's nothing written on it anymore. It went blank on me.
Oh, the paper, the ink faded away?
Faded away.
Well, you'll get nothing like it.
Right. Well, I'm going to bring it. I'm going to bring the ticket with me on Saturday, and I'm going to see if they will accommodate that ticket.
Was it for a lot? How much did you really win?
Well, I won like $90.
Oh, I'm gonna go out on a limb right now. I'm gonna say absolutely not. They're not going to accommodate you. But if they do, I'll be the first one to talk about it.
Now, yeah, Ryan seems to believe that the statute of limitations on that ticket is a year. Like you only get a year to cash that ticket in. If you don't, then you're out.
That could be too, but how will they know that it's been a year since they can't see any date on it anyway?
There's nothing on there. That whole thing has just completely disintegrated away. It is gone.
It's like you stole a roll of empty paper that they print the tickets on. And just, said, "Hey, there used to be writing on here that said I was a winner."
Well, on the back of it, it still has the William Hill logos. Like they are clear as day. You can certainly see those. So you can see that.
You could have just taken an empty roll of the paper out underneath the printer.
Well, you can see a very, very faded West Virginia. Very faded it is.
Oh. Well, now I'm intrigued. This is the first I'm hearing of this.
Yeah. Well,
apparently Ryan hit a big bet not that long ago too, so you'll have to ask him about that.
Oh, I did ask. He told me about it.
Oh, good. I didn't know if you knew. So.
All right. Well, it was fun Sunday. Saturday we're gonna have some fun. Now Friday I'm out on location Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And PT, you're out on Saturday and Sunday, so you can come out and see us. Thursday be at Chickies and Pete's. Friday at the Bally's Sportsbook. Saturday at the Ocean William Hill Sportsbook, and then Pete Thompson on Sunday. You'll be back over at Bally's from noon to 2.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. So, look, it's that time. It's football time, and, I'm glad that you and I get to be together, and I'm glad that I get to go over and be at Bally's on Sunday. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, with all those stops for you, you should have been buying on Sunday night.
I bought a couple.
You had a couple.
No, I bought a couple.
Yeah. All right, Tuesday with Thompson in the books.
At 5:15 now, by the way.
That's right. The new time.
I got it.
5:15.
Got it.
All right, man. Take care.
it.